Welcome to Prerona Television Canada. On behalf of Global Academy of Holistic Leadership and Coaching, we're very happy that we're continuing our leadership speaker series. And today is our episode 68. And today's our topic is leadership and emotional stress. As usual, our regular speaker and trainer, Advocate Ziaur Rahman, is with us, and he's the CEO of IITM and adjunct faculty of Independent University. I now welcome Advocate Ziaur Rahman to continue his session. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Just give me a second for the screen to pop up. Can you see the screen?
Yes, you can read the full screen. Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. Good morning in Dhaka and Bangladesh and rest of the world. Good evening. We have been doing this for a very long time. I am Advocate Ziaur Rahman, and we have been dealing with leadership and emotional stress and leadership engagement, leadership dynamics for quite some time. So today's topic is how to manage leadership while things can go completely wrong, things that had gone unplanned, and you are in the middle of a storm and you're supposed to make sure the people with you are understanding your direction. At the same time, you're also being calm, collected, and also navigating the ship. So moving forward, I start off with some quotations. Today's quotation is by Dalai Lama. It says, calm minds bring inner strength and self-confidence. So that's very important for good health. So if you're connecting good health with calm minds, you can really see the equation. If you're not calm in terms of your personality, in terms of your mindset, in terms of your aura, then you will not be able to arrive at a level of confidence that will give you your inner strength and confidence. And unless you have that type of confidence within yourself, you will not be able to direct your team members. It would be almost impossible for you to give people a direction, because if people are seeing that you are all flimsy, you are not in your right state of affair, you are not thinking properly, you're not being rational, you're being let's say your face looks overly worried, and you are sweating, and your earbrows, everything is pulsating. uh, every situation from a body point of view, it is not working, and people can immediately identify that you are not in your right senses. So therefore, if you want to be successful in managing a difficult and a traumatic situation, the first and foremost situation is to take a deep breath, try to visualize that, yes, this is an issue. Yes, you are in the reality of this issue. And yes, you also have the capacity and the knowledge and the overall wherewithal, the overall understanding over the years that you have gathered to come out of this situation. It's like if there is a big fire that catches a building, and we have seen in many cases that people try to break the window and try to you know exit out of the window and jump, and they fall to their deaths. Why? Because they panic. They could have perhaps taken the stairs or made other alternative options, but they, purely out of panic, did not have the right frame of mind, and they thought the only way to exit from this misery and this fire is to jump, not realizing that where are you jumping, how far down are you jumping. Yes, you can jump from a two-storied building, but can you jump from a three-storied building? Probably not. You will break your arms and maybe you will fatally hurt yourself. Can you jump from a 10-storied building? Absolutely not. So those are issues which are relevant for a leader as well, for anyone, a manager as well. If you're in a very difficult situation, you should gather some moments. People who are very religious can get their inspiration from reaching out to Allah or reaching out to God or reaching out to Bhagavan. Whichever way you want to reach out to your creator, you can also take that route and get some energy within yourself. That energy would be extremely vital for you to immediately build back your confidence. And once you have a set of confidence within yourselves, you can start articulating your actions. Common sense would seem more important and more easy to arrive at that point, because you are confidently navigating your mind. It's all about processing information through your mind, being in a confident mode. If you're not in that type of temperament, in that type of mode, then frustration and all kinds of negative perspective will cloud your thinking, and you will not be able to make any decision. You might be fluttering, you might be shifting from here and there, but imagine you have a huge issue to deal with. When we are dealing with this issue of fire, we're not just thinking of it like in real fire. We are also thinking in terms of circumstances. You are in the market for designing a certain product, and you have failed for some odd reason to launch your new product design, and everybody in the world is waiting for this launch, and they have brought all their customers in so that they will buy your product as soon as you ship through your system, supply side system, and they will have their products in their factories and in their operations, and they will be able to sell their products. So you are in the midst of a grand positioning of the new product, but it had failed and you couldn't bring it out to your audience. So imagine this is like a fire. Imagine what will you do? You have to take the right decision at that right point. You have to take the decision of a leader and maybe bite the bullet and say that, yes, there was a major issue with our product, and I am really working hard in order to, we are really working hard in order to build the organization and build the new product forward. But we have to call a product recall and go back and have a relaunch. It might cost you millions of dollars, but that's the strategy that you will have to take. But if you are not confident, then coming to that strategy might be very difficult and stressful. So confidence reduces your stress level as well, or stress level increases, lower stress level increases your confidence on the other side. Moving forward, this is by Christopher Reeve. A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. So an ordinary person can also become a hero. How? By dealing with the overwhelming obstacles. Some people are good at handling obstacles. And if you want to be a hero, if you want to be a star, if you want to be a leader in your organization, then the most important component that you have to incorporate within your own personal characteristics and capacity is the ability to handle difficult situation. It's the ability to go through the clutter and confusion and chaos and try to drive your team in the right spirit, making sure everybody is are on the same page. Everyone is moving in the positive direction. There are no tantrums going on. There are no panic situations that is arising. If it arises, you have the capacity to contain the situation and again reignite their spirit and remotivate them so that they are right back where you want them to be and then move along. If a situation is going beyond your control, then things may not be appropriate sooner or later, where you will now be able to control the entire set of things that will go wrong. Managing a small issue, but an obstacle issue in a peaceful and logical and controlled and confident manner will endure the opportunity, will endure your mental capacity, and it will help you to grow as an individual. So people will see that, people will learn from it, people will also feel confident and know that under these circumstances, under these duress, these are the ways that we can actually navigate out of the dark moments. So this is the strength that you have to preserve. This is the strength that you have to hold on to on a daily basis on an organization. And then only the organization will move from being an average organization to an extraordinary organization. If you want to lead in society, obviously you will be leading an extraordinary organization, social, business, or political. So your primary focus would be on having the capacity, having the understanding, having all the tools within the trade to keep yourself nurtured, nourished, mentally fit and agile, so that you can overcome the obstacles that may come in your direction. So you can be an ordinary individual, but you will have extraordinary capacity. And by having that extraordinary capacity, you turn yourself into a hero. And if you are really a hero in this type of situation, then no matter what level of complexity, there will be a way out for you. And people will also find more way outs. A hero creates other heroes in moments of stress. So you will be in a position to guide everyone at that point, that you did not realize that you are also in a comfortable position in spite of this major obstacle that you have been thrown into. And you will also realize that there will be other people who would sort of rise to the occasion. So you will be able to immediately identify whom to pick for what situation at that point, and then move forward. If you are like assume you are a house in the middle of a jungle and dacoits have come on to rob you and kill you and take everything away from your house. So all of a sudden, this sense of preservation, this sense of uh, rising up to the occasion, and the sense of saving not only you but the people in the household strongly goes through your blood, your mindset. And if this can be escalated, and if this can be thrown into every single individual within the house, then everyone within the house will become a soldier until his or her death. So that will be an extremely powerful unit. So the dacoits will have almost no choice but to retreat. So this tremendous zeal, this tremendous courage can be brought into yourselves by having the spirit, having the perseverance, and having the mindset that yes, we can rise, yes, we can deliver, yes, we have the grand capacity to do extraordinary feat. So any obstacle should not be looked upon as a problem, but an issue for an opportunity to do better, so that next time around there will be no obstacles on your road to glory. So moving forward, this is by Misty Copeland. She says, Be strong, be fearless, be beautiful, and believe that anything is possible when you have the right people there to support you. Exactly. In my previous slide, I was just talking about this unity of strength when you're being attacked by miscreants. So same thing goes here. If you can have a lovely set of people, confident set of people, people with passion and people with the grit to go out and slave it out, but with the mindset of overcoming this problem, overcoming this issue of obstacle, and not looking at it as an obstacle, looking at an issue, and you are thinking of solving the issue. If your mind is geared in that direction, then you will be a better leader. If you do this from today at your work environments, look at the issues that are in front of you and start penning them down as an opportunity rather than as a problem. Yes, there might be a problem, but these problems, if solved, will create greater opportunity for your organization. So take the leap forward. Call it a opportunity stemming from a small problem, or an issue has been raised, and let's hit the issue on its head and re revise our plan, correct it, and then move forward. Then you will automatically see that you are getting the mental strength, your body language is already turning positive, your stress levels are coming down, your blood flows are normal, and you're moving in the right direction. So all the support units that are necessary for you to run as a full-fledged professional will be there to support you. It will be your body, mind, spirit integration. And along with it, the people around you, they will also be in the same type of mindset and reinvigorated. So things will automatically start to fall into the right places. So the impossibility of the situation will turn into I am possible. So whole idea is to believe in the spirit that whatever the case, whatever the scenario, it is possible to find an alternative. It is possible to find a solution. And that's the beauty of being fearless. That's the beauty of being strong. That's the beauty of having the passion to deliver more. So if you have this spirit, being strong, being fearless, and being beautiful, then you will automatically turn the enterprise that you're running into a better enterprise. Moving forward, it's by F. Scott Fitzgerald. For what for what it's worth, it is never too late to be whoever you want to be. I hope you live a life you're proud of. And if you find you are not, I hope you have the strength to start over again. So he's talking about starting over again when you don't find that the life that you wanted to lead, you're not being able to lead that life. So the set of belief system, the set of perspectives and attitudes and the behavior patterns and the characteristics that you felt was important within yourself, and if you don't see that being reflected in your work activity on a daily basis, that means you have actually transformed yourself from the ideal you that you wanted to grow into to someone, a new you, which you probably did not want you to grow into. So here is a moment of truth. Do you continue with your new self, or do you find a way to convert yourself back to your old self? If you feel passionate about your old self and that the old self is a better self, or the pictured self that you had planned was a better alternative to what you're seeing now, then you should start over. That means revise your life, start thinking in a different fashion, start renegotiating all the terms of life that you have actually taken so far, step away from them, reignite your passion and start moving forward. This is very easy to say, but it's a very hard transition. It is like you have always been happy about being an electrical engineer, let's say, and you worked all your life, but for some crazy reason, one moment in life, you made a turn in your life. And For some reason, you did not finish your graduation and you went into another subject. Let's say you went into management as a subject and you finished your management degree. Do you return back to your old visual engineer that you had all visualization? It depends on the level of passion that you're holding on to at present. If you're not passionate, if you didn't feel that this is what you really wanted, being you wanted to be an electrical engineer, but now you're a management professional, are you happy with yourself? If you're happy and you're content and you're proud of, then no problem. But if you are constantly having this feeling that my old perspective of being an engineer, it was so much better and my life means nothing unless I become an engineer, then of course you need to take a strong stand and go back to school and finish up your engineering degree and come back, even if it means that you're starting a few years behind your friends and colleagues. Why? Because it is the passion that has to decide at the end of everything. If, as human beings, if we don't have passion that carries with us throughout our lives, then we are actually running a life of someone else. We are really not running our own lives. And many of us are in that kind of shoes. So you have to decide, you have to start thinking, am I in the right shoe? Am I in the right game? Am I in the right mindset, dealing with the right kind of community, right type of people? Or is it something that I need to take exit and refigure who I really want to be, or I know who I want to be, reposition my energy, my dedication, my effort in that direction where I passionately wanted to be. That might be a judgment call. That might be a clarion call for you. But if you want to lead and if you want to manage your daily stress, then maybe this would be an avenue for growth. So you have to take this stance once in a lifetime or maybe twice in a lifetime. But I am sure if you're making these stands come in your direction every few years, then you will be sliding backwards. You will not be sliding, you will not be running uphill, you will be sliding down. So you will be on the slopes of the hill, you're wanting to move up, but your mindset, your mental makeup is not allowing you to move up and you're slipping down. It is because you don't hold the energy to withstand the friction that is pulling you back. So this is something that is negative. So you have to be strong and mentally agile so that no effort, no level of negative wind can pull you down. So I would suggest that from an organizational point of view, from the point of view of running your organization or your team or the products that you're manufacturing, you have to have a certain belief system. If you believe in your products and if you believe in your team and you believe in your service, then you should go all out in rolling out your next line of products, your next vision of your organization and the service and the team spirit and the makeup of the team, the way you are planning. That will actually create the next enterprise. But if you are always questioning your journey, and feeling that, am I doing the right thing? Then the confidence level, the body language that you really ought to have in order to lead will not be showing forth. And that will be noticed by the people around you. So that is something as a professional you should not be doing. So I would suggest that moving forward with a lot of analytics, a lot of brainstorming discussions and sessions would be reasonably appropriate for you to move into a journey of a new product and services. Don't stop once you have made a very sincere effort, unless you really have reason to. And what could be some of these reasons? The one reason would be the market has tremendously changed. So whatever plan that you had before the pandemic and the plan that you have after the pandemic, it has to be adjusted. The old mindset may not be the appropriate mindset for you to run your organization. So start evolving your own organizational perspective and your own culture. So that's how you will survive the future chaos that is waiting to happen. Never think that chaos will not hit you as an organization, because chaos is part of everybody's lifestyle. Chaos is part of every business ecosystem. So you have to be hopeful that you have the capacity to re-engage and hold the wheel of the ship in the storm that you will definitely experience in the days to come. So it's never too late to start thinking about change, and it's never too late to begin your journey for change. Moving forward, leadership, this is my definition. Leadership is about having the ability to size up the emotional condition of the people you work with and guide them at just a level where they remain performers and listeners as well. I've used the word listeners and performance purposefully. Why? Because if you want to really lead people, it is also important that they will listen to you. They will listen and perform. If they're all going in different tangents with their own mindsets, then what will happen is a grand chaos. Nothing will get done. Everybody is the leader in the house. Nobody is listening to no one. So the order and hierarchy will break down. So you want leadership to be designed in such a way that you need to know everybody's mental makeup, the emotional alma mater, the emotional context in which he or she runs his or her life, in the context of the office, in the context of the factory. That is very relevant. So understanding the overall emotion of your team members individually, specifically the direct reports that you are dealing with, that will be very helpful for you to actually work your team. If you are going with the same structure for everyone, it may not operate well. Some might be in a slightly difficult situation today or mentally upset, and you're giving the same level of stress that you had given that person the previous day. Things may buckle, things may be slightly negative, and if something goes in a negative territory, uh, you have to put more energy and effort to bring it back to your previous condition, and that is time, money, and energy. And that also means that you are not being able to put time into other important decisions, other important issues that needs to be sorted out. So you have to be very quick in understanding the emotional context, the emotional structure, emotional mindset of your people, and throw them the throw them an adequate level of your leadership traits so that they can handle given their emotional condition. So two things have to happen. They have to be a good listeners, and then also be in emotional state to perform. And that will be the appropriate design of a leader. Moving forward, a leadership and emotional stress, re-strategize and reprioritize. As we know that when there are emotional stress, things can go out of whack. Things can go out of your control. Even you being a normal person, you may act in a funny way that you may realize that after a few hours or few days that what you had done that previous night was not at all logical. So you may feel a little ashamed at that point. So you have to be always understanding of the boundaries in which you have to operate. So if emotional stress is high, take a step outside your office, go use the restroom, put some water on your face, but know that you are to be rationally designing or rationally doing your activities. If you let your emotion get the better of you, then things will go wrong. Have knowledge on human stress levels and emotional breaking points. If you have a very clear understanding of at what level people would probably break down, and you are under stress, and you know people within your team are under stress, but you don't want them to break down, so you will manage the level and understand their level and manage to give them just appropriate level of stress so that the work gets done. Make 360-degree assessment with understanding the global assessment around you, not just you, the people around you, the teams around you, the stakeholders around you. You have to get a sizable understanding on that, and then make the judgment calls. Empower, channel, and guide. You have to also empower at that point, because your old strategy is not working, so you're re-strategizing and you're reprioritizing. So previous people whom you had given due responsibility and things had not worked and had gone really south, you have to reframe and re-strategize that. Therefore, you have to absolutely empower maybe certain other people and channel your effort and guide these new people to the safer journey. Revise, re-strategize, and replan. That has to be the middle part of that, has to be the most robust part of your new plan. You have to put a lot of effort into redeploying new strategies. If not, the structure will fail, the outcome will be disastrous. So you have to really quickly re-navigate out of the murky waters and create something which is acceptable, which is doable in context of the new reality. Remapping priorities with changing context. When you are doing all this, obviously there's another thing that we would like to introduce is communication, communication, and communication throughout the process. So you should not be having things in your back of your head all the time. You have to tell your immediate people why you're doing what you're doing, or you have to call short meetings and discuss on the fly what needs to be done right away, so that to address this horrendous condition that is prevailing or about to take place. So what needs to be done? It's your submarine that is going down, and none of your floaters are working. The vacuum system channel is not working. What are your alternatives? You have 300 crews that are going down and fast. And if you are falling into the depths of 6,000 meters, then it would be almost impossible for you to survive, because there are no ship in your neighborhood in the 300 square kilometer area. So you only have oxygen supply of 6 hours. And what do you do? What do you do at this point? Do you let your people float right away to the top? But it's a shark infested area. What do you do then? What kind of alternatives that you have? Do you let go of your loads, your armaments, and then the submarine becomes a little bit lighter? So these are the issues. I've just given an example of a submarine, but this is a real life issue as well, because in military warfare, you do get to go into these type of contexts, and you have to make extremely quick decisions. And when we teach our strategic management, we definitely talk about these military warfare and engagement. So as a leader, you have to re-strategize and reprioritize on a almost a daily basis. But when these tremendous moments of truth comes about, you have to make extremely important judgment call. Your arm is stuck in the door and the fire is raging, and the only way for you to survive is to chop your hand off. Can you chop your hand off? Or do you feel remorse? Do you feel passionate and emotional about your hand? And then ultimately you risk the chance of your being consumed by the fire and go to your, you know, you go to your death. Is that the alternative? Probably not. At that point, you have to chop your hand. It's easy to say, but it's really hard to execute. But these execution points, you have to be absolutely, what should I say, brutal, because it is not brutality, it's rationality at that point, because brutal is the other one where you are being stupid enough to put yourself and letting you burn to, be letting yourself be burned by the flames, consumed by the flames. That is the stupid part. That is the more brutal part. So sometimes certain things from a leader's point of view may look very harsh, may look very critical, may look frustrating for the organization, but the leader has to take those ugly and unpleasant decisions. Firing people from your department, not every day a leader is out there with the right mindset and teamwork and all of that. Some days some days the leader has to de-team the team. That means make people leave the team so that the or enterprise survives. Otherwise, the entire enterprise will collapse. So what do? Do you make people a little bit happy for a little extra period of time, or you take immediate decisions to get rid of some people so that you create an opportunity for the ship to float? That's a judgment call that you have to make on a daily basis. And in these type of emotional stress points, you have to be you have to remain confident, and you also have to know what's your boundaries and all the emotional breaking points you have to understand. And if you have the understanding well, you can do a 360-degree assessment, and then you can really empower and channel your new team member, even in spite of the fact that you had fired a decent number of people. People will be upset, people will feel frustrated and violated. That will also take place. But if you have a complete strategic plan for them, for a navigation, for them to navigate out of this organization into a different environment, and if you can sort of find a rope for them, that would be the best thing to do. Otherwise your ship is failing. So as a leader, we have to take these issues into our cognizance, into our understanding. Moving forward, losing sight and misaligned vision. This is urgent, that if you are not aligned with your vision and you are defocused, you are perplexed, you are worried, you don't really know what's going on, and all your plans have gone upside down, belly up, what do? Stress is overtaking you. You are lacking clarity. So the first thing is find a way to bring your clarity back. Maybe even hire someone right away in these type of situation. Although you are really down to days before things can really blow up into your faces. You are ticking against the time bomb. So what do? But things have to change. So bringing clarity back would be number one agenda. Vision shifting, as priorities were unplanned and unchecked. Your previous priorities were not properly planned and not properly checked because the top management didn't really care, and maybe they're not there anymore. And your visions are quite a bit away and adrift from what your organization had planned for. The previous team members did not respond to the call and had left. For example, I'm in a situation like this for an organization that we run. The previous management have left. I am responsible for their activities, but they have left a lot of bad baggage and negative issues and financial loss that has to be looked into, and over the next year and a half, slowly these problems have to be solved. So difficult situation. Do It's not undoable, but it's difficult. Only through reprioritizing and revisualizing and revisioning a new system, a new mode of operation, a new methodology, and also building new markets and new product lines, you can actually come out of these type of situations. You can't be thinking with your old mindset. You can't be thinking with your old logic. You have to reprogram your old logic. You have to bring in your new design, your new thought process into this system. That way you can misalign and bring you, that way you can overcome a misaligned environment and reposition and realign into something reasonably productive. Vision achievement lacking, organization morale and mindset down. The vision did not take place. The grand faluting vision that your previous CEO or your management had shown you is nowhere close. They offered you a brilliant Toyota, and what they have given you is a ramshackle model of a car which is almost not working. Will you not be surprised? Of course. Will you not be frustrated? Of course. Will you not feel down? Of course. So how do you bring out your morale? How do you change your mindset? Again, you have to recalibrate yourself. We had talked about recalibrating our mindset previously in previous classes. So what we have to do at this point is to settle with our inner souls, inner mindset, saying to ourselves that what we have done or what is it that we are right now involved in is our own failings. Maybe you might blame someone else, but that will not help any bit. You have to internalize and you start thinking that where did things go wrong? And at this point, how I can make things better. That is your primary focus. Of course, you will try to learn from your history, where did it go wrong? But if you dwell too long on the where, then how to will not be arrived at. How to solve the situation, how to improve the situation, steps to be taken, the positive decisions that you have to bring forth. These are the issues that should be driving your mindset and bring back your morale. Slow passion to drive the vision forward. At this point, when you are misaligned, then your passion is low. Because you don't connect with your vision and you're not moving forward in the same spirit because you are almost resigned to the fact that you have lost the game. So what do? Do you resign to it? No, you reinvigorate yourself. It's like the battery. You recharge yourself. You always have days in your life where you are down, you are wasted. Things that you really wanted to achieve didn't happen. Or with all the bright energy, you went out and tried to do something, it didn't happen. Your morale would be down, your vision will be cluttered. But does that mean that you will stop and just leave this market and move on to something else? Probably not, because you were maybe 60 feet away from success. It is the 60 feet away from success syndrome that affects all of us. And 90% of the people fail just when the success was just about to happen, but you did not see because you did not put in the last leg of the journey. It's like you were almost close to closing your marathon run, but you failed to see the stadium and you thought that you have another 5-10 miles a journey. That's just a hypothetical way of saying, but your legs did not give, your legs gave in. your morale gave in and you failed before entering the stadium because you did not see the stadium. You did not see the vision right in your face. So when you have the vision in your face, and if you are connecting with the vision on a day-to-day basis, then you will be pushing yourself, you will be slaving yourself, you will feel the confidence to move ahead. So start building these mental framework of seeing the vision and passionately reconnect with the vision. Yes, it's very, very difficult. All of us are human beings. We fail miserably, and then we leave the market. We feel that we don't belong to this market. We are not ready for this market. Start thinking in a different way. You start thinking, how can I turn things around? How can I turn this bull by the horn and make it do what I tell it to do? So you have to take a very strong grip of your own self, your own confidence, and your knowledge and skill set, and then attack the situation. And after a certain level of commitment, and if you are truly not in the position to address those issues of the market, then it is wise that you step out. If you're not an aeronautical engineer, you may not be the right person to volunteer to make an aerospace engine. So no matter how hard you try, you might fail. Not necessarily always, but that is the general reality of the world. So you have to also visualize, understand what is the last level of commitment that you will have in order to drive forth, in order to achieve a misaligned vision, what level of effort that you will give in. Or the other issue that in this game, you also have to ask yourself in your brainstorming session, creating a new brainstorming session and asking yourselves as a team, are we in the right journey? Are we in the right product line? Are we doing things in the right way, or is there an alternative way? So if you can go back and forth and recontextualize, revisualize, replan your future, then ultimately success probably will come in your direction. Moving forward, moving forward, realigning and engaging towards the vision. Your first focus would be taking the clarity back, bring the clarity back, then holding your stress levels and be able to manage the stress at at an appropriate level. Then if the vision is shifting, then fine, but uh, have you taken all the issues under condition? Have you understood the issue that the markets are changing and therefore your vision needs to be recalibrated? In that case, fine. Otherwise, stick to your old vision, work towards it, reignite passion, push with a bang. You have to push back with all your energy, all your gusto, all your passion, because sometimes it is the passionate entry back into your work can actually ignite the spirit not only for yourself but for your team members. So you want a re-entry with a bang. So push yourself, reignite the passion, build your trust level. Once you build your trust level, then the passion will automatically will ebb up. Go on an accelerated open communication model. As I mentioned, be open and discussing on the matters and call in meetings, short meetings, and discuss what is the new blueprint and how you're getting there. If you can convey it properly, then things will work out very well for your organization. Take leadership spirit, ask people to follow with confidence. This is absolutely important. Ask people to follow with confidence. Sometimes you don't even have to ask, you just show the way and people follow you. So this leadership spirit has to be shown in your body language, in your mindset, your way of delivery, your approach, and your communication style, etc. would be confident, clear, precise, and uncluttered. So if that is the way you're moving forward, then you can actually bounce back from a misaligned vision. yes, it's very difficult because few months back you were acting in a different way, not just because of you. Maybe you were making small mistakes and you were also being either lazy or being frustrated, and maybe you were not leading up to your living up to your standard as a CEO. You were not there in terms of your standards. You were failing, and people were watching you and feeling remorse and slowly becoming disconnect. But one fine day, you got your energies back, you got your passion back, you went back with a bang, you started improving your own self, started improving your communication, you started building back the trust, and you started really showing forth to your team that you're back with a vengeance and that you mean business. Then automatically the people who were shifting away from you will gravitate back towards you. So we have to be careful as not to fall into these type of traps as leaders. Leaders also fall into traps by listening to wrong people or taking wrong perspective or reading wrong material which is inappropriate for the market, whereas something different should have been looked upon. You thought that this was the authority, so you have to get a holistic understanding by reading material from here, listening from there, discussing matters, and also looking at your competitors, specifically if you are in a firm where there are competitors or direct competitors. Learn from the market, learn from your suppliers, stakeholders, etc. Ask people, learn from them. Team discussions, put all kinds of question answer session, etc. All of these will build back the level of confidence that you need as a leader. So moving forward, I am at the end of my session. The $1 million question is, when stress levels are almost consuming you and you are getting perplexed with your own thinking process versus the company vision and finding them to be different, what do you do? In other words, you are now questioning the company vision and you are thinking that your vision is shifting from the vision that the company had designed for the enterprise. What do you do as a CEO? Do you resign? Do you recalibrate the vision? Or you start telling people that my vision has changed. I need to know whether you are in line with mine. I would think that this would not be the right approach. The right approach would be calling in meetings of senior level people for clarity, for the decision, not decision, clarity, and further discussion on whether the vision of the organization is appropriate or whether the games of the market have changed and whether we need to incorporate these issues. If you had just changed your vision and if you feel that the vision setting was not appropriate, and before you really roll into your new vision, you may want to have another session, although it would be difficult and it might create uh, confusion within the enterprise as well. So you have to also you have to also weigh in those consequences and understand that if you are bringing a issue back which has been settled, then the management, the top management, you being part of the top management, even you are the CEO, the board of directors might have a feeling that you are not aligned to the vision of the organization. So the board might not want to keep you as the CEO of the enterprise. Having said this, this is the risk that you take. But if you are a true CEO with passion and wanting to make the organization hit big time, you will not be worried about yourself. You will convey your thinking to maybe very key strategic members of the board and ask their permission to revisit the vision. And that probably would be the best approach to moving forward. But if you were selfish to your job, you felt that there was a disconnect between you and your vision, but you felt that, hey, I am earning a huge amount of salary and incentive and perks from this organization. I will stay here for 2 years or maximum 3 years. And by that time, even if I have to leave, I have made a few millions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars from this business. So what do I care? So that type of mindset, maybe you can harbor, but that's not the right mindset. So being a true leader, you have to be open, you have to be clear, and you have to be absolutely gung ho serious about the passion that you must have in order to move the enterprise forward. If you are into a $1 million business, multi-million dollar business, and you are the chief architect and you're pushing the organization forward, then you should be dreaming of this organization day in, day out, so that the enterprise truly reaches its target, because you are being sufficiently fed financially and in terms of status and other benefits. So I would be very keen on ensuring that if there is a mission non-realignment with my vision and the vision of the organization, I would immediately call in a meeting upon a very closed door discussion with the key board members of the organization, and then uh, arrive at a decision yourself. And then if the vision needs to be recalibrated, then open the floor for the process of recalibration to start. But this would be the most appropriate way, and that may actually really help the organization to move into the future in a grand style. So with that, I would like to end today's session. Those of you who had watched us in Bangladesh and rest of the world, thank you very much. And I am Advocate Ziorman, CEO of IATM, and making the presentation from Dhaka. So back to you, Edward Mondo. Thank you very much. Stay safe in pandemic.
All right. Thank you very much, Advocate Rahman, for your presentation. And with that, we conclude our 60th episode of Leadership Speaker Series. We welcome you to watch our next session, which will be held on coming Wednesday at 9 p.m. at Mountain Standard Time and 11 p.m. at Eastern Standard Time. And in Bangladesh Standard Time, it's Thursday morning at 9 a.m. and Indian Standard Time is Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. With that, stay safe and stay blessed.